This is TWiT.
TechCrunch points out that Facebook and Google are not the only people abusing Apple's enterprise certificate program. Those enterprise certificates are meant for companies offering apps just for internal use. A TechCrunch investigation discovered a dozen hardcore pornography apps, which of course Apple blocks, and a dozen real money gambling apps that escaped Apple's oversight because Apple blocks both of those. The developers passed Apple's weak, this is TechCrunch's word, enterprise certificate screening process, or piggybacked on a legitimate approval, allowing them to sidestep the App Store. That's an interesting way of getting into iPhones. Of course, you'd have to sideload it.
Yeah, but that's the sort of market that would go for that. Someone who's very, very highly motivated by either money or access to porn. And I'm not making a joke there. That if you give them a freaky system for installing an app, they will still go for it.
Yep.
I mean, Safari, why bother, right?
Yeah.
So I would guess that the way this, by the way, to get an enterprise certificate, you fill out an online form, you pay $299 to Apple. You have to, in the form, pledge that you're building an enterprise certificate app for internal employee use only, and that
we swear on the phone. We're not going to use this for any skullduggery or.
And they have the legal authority to register the business, provide a DUNS business number, and have an up-to-date Mac. So it's not so tricky. I would guess that the way it works is you'd go to a website like this Boss Room gambling app. You'd go to their website and they'd say, all right, well, if you want to install this, you have to download and install a certificate, and then you can sideload this using that certificate. That's how it works, right, Renee? You install a certificate on your phone.
Yeah, absolutely. And then it lets you distribute it through that enterprise certificate. And you don't have to have it signed by the App Store. It's signed by that company instead.
TechCrunch found thousands of sites offering downloads of sideloaded enterprise apps. Using a standard unjailbroken iPhone, TechCrunch was able to download and verify 12 pornography and 12 cash gambling apps over the past week. So this is fairly widespread.
I mean, App Store Review should just hire John Constantine and Zach Whitaker at this point.
Yeah.
Find everything.
Is this Constantine that did it, that wrote this? Or
I don't know if it was John or Zach. Yeah. One of them, yeah.
Josh has really done a lot of great enterprise work lately.
All those porn sites, they're like, they just ruined everything for everyone. I mean, they're like literally.
Yeah, no, exactly. What a nightmare for Apple to try to police all of this. And I can't imagine honest developers not getting caught in the crossfire of this. I mean, we've seen how bad things get when naughty people figure out a way around rules of commonly good behavior, with what's happening with YouTube, with blackmailers figuring out that YouTube doesn't really police its strike system. They just believe that if someone says there's a copyright strike against this, they'll believe them. So we'll put 2 copyright strikes against this really popular YouTuber and say, unless you give us 5,000, unless you give us 10 Bitcoin, we will file a 3rd copyright strike and you will never get your channel back. This is the sort of problem that could affect Apple developers if Apple decides that this has now become such a big problem. We're just going to assume that 1 out of every 3 certificate users are actually fraudulent at this point because they don't have the resources to police it all, I don't think.
Unfortunately, it looks like a lot of the certificates are actually legitimate companies who are being, or either their certs are forged or stolen. So if you see this list, the certificate holder is a freight forwarding company or a U.S. furniture company, Airbnb management company in Romania, Moscow motorcycle company.
So it's their IT guy's younger brother. What is he doing in that?
Yeah, exactly. And Apple even kind of facilitates that because they have a DUNS lookup feature in their application, so you can look up the name of a company as a certificate.
Well, and it could be, and some of it maybe they're being tricked, but other ones are going to say, "Hey, we just want to do this. We want to use this number, and we'll
here's
pay you
$1,000,
$1,000 a month or $1,000 a week," and they're going, "Yeah, sure." You know.
I imagine after Josh's story, well done, Josh. Apple will move.
Yep.
Take this up.